Welcome to the Private Practice Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storme, here to help you unlock the mind, business, and spirit of your private practice success. So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to grow, this is the place for you if you really want to create a thriving private practice. Before we dive in, I want to share something that can really make a difference in your business. Imagine having an expert in your pocket, someone available on demand whenever you need guidance. Well, that's exactly what my new program, Practice Momentum, offers. With over 30 years of experience at your fingertips, you can now get the support you need whenever you need it. Curious? Head over to brooklynstorme.com to learn more. And now let's get into today. Hello and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Oh my gosh, what a whirlwind. But before we get started, I just want to let you know we are 4 weeks away from the next intake for Practice Momentum. Yes, you get to start on the 15th of July. So it's like right at the beginning of the next financial year. How cool is that? What better time to get some support for your business? And I made you something super special, but I'm not going to spoil the surprise. You can go over and see it yourself, but you are absolutely going to love it. And yeah, I'm so excited for you to see it. I'll put the link in the show notes to the page. If you scroll down, you'll see what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'll tell you more about that a little bit later, but so exciting. And then guess what? The other thing is, what do you think about everything that's been happening over in the counselling sector? So I know that there are people that listen, thank you so much, who are psychologists and social workers and stuff like that. But I guess sort of the hot topic at the moment right now is what's happening over in the counselling sector. So for those of you who don't know, it might be interesting actually, because if you are in a related profession, this is going to absolutely what was I going to say? I was thinking of saying a metaphor, but it wasn't actually going to work. I was thinking of make your toes curl, but that's not the right thing, is it? Anyway, it's something. But anywho, so what's happening? The situation is that there are national standards, and you can go and hear all about it in the previous episode and the one before that. But we've been trying, being the operative word, get some momentum built up so that we can maybe get a little bit of a pause on how they're going to be progressing so that we can get some changes made, because as they currently stand, it could look, not great for people. So anyway, there's been so much going back and forth. And you know what? It was like Thursday last week. There was a petition. I was like, yeah, we're gonna do this. And so I just made it like a personal mission that I was going to do everything I could to get as many signatures as I possibly could. And OMG, have I been hustling. You would be so proud of me. I've been hustling my little butt off over here. And it's really interesting because I'm not in ACA. They wouldn't have me. I know, sad, right? I'm not in PACVA. They wouldn't have me either. Super sad. And so I've just kind of been floating, not with either of those two bodies, because neither of them think psychologists do counselling, which is just bizarre. Don't even get me started. But anywho, so as I was saying to somebody else, I don't even have a dog in this fight, but this is so important to me to try and help. And honestly, I was talking to one of my beautiful clients this morning in supervision, and it was sort of either side of the supervision session, obviously, and she was talking about it and had a few questions, and I was happy to answer them. And it was I don't know, I said to her, I think this is where when you get diagnosed with ADHD and ADID, it's kind of like a little bit of a double whammy, and then the unmasking starts to happen, and as the unmasking happens, as the autism starts to emerge, and I really think it was the neurodivergence that turned into a superpower, because I had so much energy. I was on fire. I had tunnel vision. I was focused. You should have seen me. I mean, today's probably the first day it started to slow down a bit, but I've just been on fire and loving it. absolutely loving it. Living, breathing, eating, sleeping, everything to do with these standards and helping people. And I can see, with autism, one of the things I have is rigidity around rules. So I'm really, 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 I don't know. It's just, I can't even explain it. It's just like in my DNA, if you break a rule or something like that, like it really affects me. It's like, that's not fair. And at the same time, one of my other little things that I've just never been able to explain is when, it's that fairness, it's that sense of justice. And so when I saw all of this was happening, how could I not? Like the neurodivergence won't let me not do anything. And I'm just so passionate about it. And I knew I had to make change. I had to do something. And I don't know whether I've actually helped. I mean, I hope that I have. I hope that what I've been able to contribute has made a difference to someone somewhere. And, I really hope that it has. But I'm not going down without a fight for you because, I just can't. It's not in me to do it. So anyway, all of that has been happening. And then the other thing that has been happening even while, this is what I'm saying, like when you're in hyperfocus, you just get energy like gazillion. It's crazy energy. And so I went and made all these extra resources for the women in Momentum, and they didn't even know about it. I just sent them an email then. I don't think they would have read it or had a chance to open it. They're probably in sessions. But I know they're going to be totally blown away. And I am so excited. For me, I'm like in anticipation, waiting for all the messages to come through because I know that they're going to, isn't it just like the best feeling when you create something and it's just gonna, I don't know, they're just gonna be so excited. I can't wait. So I'm recording on GarageBand, but I'm looking at my email waiting to see a little result come through from that. I'm so excited. What I want to talk with you about today is marketing. Not only is it something that I love and I talk about it a lot, but I want to speak into something that happened for me today, right? So anyway, as you know, like the only sort of coaching I do now is Momentum. However, a little while ago, somebody was applying for funding and she wanted to do a different program. I no longer have that program available, but anyway, her funding got approved, and so she wants to do the program. So okay, fine, of course I'm going to honor it. So yes, we're doing that. And she said something to me, and it was really interesting because it's not the first time it's been said. And I thought, hey, maybe not the only person that thinks this or that does this. And let's try and see if we can get it sorted out for you now. Okay, so she was like, okay, we're going to do the business coaching and and I was like, yep. So I was saying, right, this is what I want to do. I need the business plan if you've got one. I need this if you've got it. I need that if you've got it. And so I was sending her all the stuff that I was going to need so that I could, prepare, make sure she's getting like value and, gets results, obviously. And anyway, she wrote back to me and she was, addressing some of the points in my email. And then she says, oh yeah, I don't need you to do anything around the marketing because I also got funding for an external agency to help me with that. And so, you're not doing anything to do with and I was like, oh my gosh, because straight away, like if you know me, triggering for me because I don't want to see her or anyone waste money doing marketing programs or working with marketing people that have no idea about private practice, that have no idea about mental health or our industry. And when I say that, I mean, maybe they do know something about mental health, I'm not sure, but oftentimes they don't, and they don't understand our code of practice, our ethics, all those kinds of things. And the reason that I know this is because having worked with so many women in private practice before, it's a thing, right? They'll come to me and they'll say, my marketing's not working, blah, blah, blah. And then we start having a look at, okay, what have you done? And they'll show me, and oh my gosh, it makes your head spin looking at this. Or they'll say to me, yeah, they wanted me to do this and I wasn't able to because, that's unethical. They wanted video testimonials from my clients to be on my Google My Business page. And so, I got some done and I was like, take them down. You can't do that. Just stuff like that. And I think if you're not savvy, if you're not across things, you don't know what you don't know, and you can get yourself into hot water. And I know this as well because there have been people that I've supervised that got in trouble for their marketing because it wasn't ethical and people complained and all the things, right? And when we were talking during supervision, they were like, I had, I paid somebody to help me with my marketing. I was like, oh my gosh. I said, do they know anything about private practice? No. Okay. So you need to, when you're getting people to help you with your business, it's generally recommended that they have experience helping private practices, and for all kinds of reasons. As you just heard there, they can recommend strategies that might be working for other clients, but don't necessarily work for us, right? So video testimonials was a big thing. Other things were just layout of the website, and it was just totally not appropriate. The way that the content was written was cold and generic and very formal. Things like that, things that are never going to get you a client, and I don't want to see you waste money on that. So I'm going to help you today with, if you're going to hire people to help you with your marketing, first off, ask them, have you helped other private practice owners? Do you have any that I can speak to? Because you want to find out if it was working, if it didn't, if it was ethical, if it wasn't, all those kinds of things. You've got to do your due diligence. Don't just find somebody on Google and hire them, right? What else? Oh, there's so much. Okay. To simplify it for you as well, I would say, one of the things that a marketing company will often get you to do is rewrite your headings. That can be problematic. For example, maybe you've got a really good heading that speaks to your client, that lets them know how you can help them, the problem you solve, what you do, how you work, right? All of those kinds of things, right? It's a really, really good heading, and it's right there in the middle of the page. The marketing guy's probably going to say, oh, let's change that and optimize it for SEO. And he replaces the message with something like online and in-person counselling, marriage, couples, Mornington Peninsula. And now you've just lost your message. You've lost your connection. And now we've got a whole website full of headings like that feel formulaic, that feel really cold. And then what's a client going to do when a client is looking for a therapist in the Mornington Peninsula to help them with their marriage and their couples counseling, their relationships and stuff like that? They've got your website there that's full of these clunky SEO based headings versus somebody else who's speaking like a real person. Which one do you think they're going to book with? They're going to book with the one that feels like a real person. So anyway, I would say when it comes to your marketing, do your due diligence. Also, don't pay good money to teach them how to market your business. And when I say that, if you maybe forgot or you didn't know to ask your marketer about, do you understand about, the mental health sector, and have you helped other counselors or social workers or psychologists in private practice, and you just, that didn't happen and you don't have that information, but now you're having the consultations and they're getting you to do all of these things, and as part of you that's like, this smells a little bit fishy. Don't pay, don't give up your time. If they're meeting with you for an hour and you've got to spend half of that hour educating them about ethics, say, listen, I've just had to help you out in terms of understanding my industry for the last half hour. So I want another half hour of the marketing service, please. Be a business person, right? Be a businesswoman. Put your business head on. Because unless you start seeing yourself as a business, other people won't, and you'll get taken advantage of. And that's what can happen here. I'm not saying anything bad about marketing companies. I'm saying it's your responsibility to make sure that you work with people who understand the industry. It's just really important that you get that kind of guidance. I've had to, help people undo things that have been done that, contradicted and contravened a lot of things, or that were just bad marketing in our industry. Things like offering massive discounts, not a marketing strategy in mental health. Can't do it. Shouldn't be offering discounts to vulnerable people with mental health issues and getting them locked into payments they can't afford. No, that's why we've got codes of ethics. So if the marketer is telling you, oh yeah, let's just do a half price end of financial year sale, say no, can't do it, right? It's called entrapment, all the things, can't do it, not ethical. Understand what you can do and what you can't. But at the end of the day, you don't need to go and hire a marketing expert, okay? Because you don't have a massive business. You're not McDonald's. You don't need, you're not a massive corporation that needs loads of support around your marketing, right? You're a micro business, most of us, we're at micro businesses. We are, most of us solo private practitioners. Others, maybe we've just got one team member or, one or two subbies, little subcontractors that are working with us. And so we're not massive. You don't need all of that. Marketing is about a couple of things. It's about having a really, really clearly identified niche. It's about having a really, really, really clearly identified and well-articulated, compelling message so that your client, when they come straight to your website, they know exactly that they're in the right place, right? There's that. Because we want clients that reach out to you to be, ready to enroll, ready to book, ready to sign up for, ready to register for, right? All the things. And the whole reason that they're reaching out is just for some clarification on, one or two things. But basically, they've seen the website, they know you're the one to help them, they're okay with the fee, and they just got a couple of quick questions, i.e., is it all online? Do I have to come in person? Or what's the start date, right? It's simple questions like that. And then they get booked in, or they sign up, or they enroll, or you do whatever you do. That's why we have niches with message in it, so you never have to sell. All the people that say, I hate marketing, it's icky, I don't want to push myself onto people, it's coercing, they say stuff like that. It's because they've never learned, they've never been taught, they've never been shown by someone who knows what they're actually doing, how to do it. And so they're left to their own devices, or they think there's no value in actually getting help, right? They feel like it's easy, I'll just do it myself. Marketing is putting stuff on my social media. And the thing is, no, it's not. That's not marketing. That's you posting random stuff on your socials and hoping that somebody's going to book in. They won't, not without a clear niche and a message. So it starts there. And once you've got those things and somebody can come over to your website and they know straight away whether you can or can't help them and whether you are or aren't the practice for them, then it's a matter of building rapport and connection, extending the approach that you take in that initial session with someone about, getting to know them, building that connection, establishing rapport, building trust, if I didn't say that already. It's doing those things and just moving that approach into your website, into your social media. And that's where I've got the hiccups, sorry. That's where so many people tend to fall down. And it happens for all kinds of reasons. They've got it in their head that they need to be like pitching. Like, there are people in private practice that put posts up that say that they've got, availability now and stuff like this. Like, nobody's interested in reading that. That's not going to get looked at, other than perhaps by a few of your peers or colleagues. Nobody's really interested in that. Your clients certainly aren't interested in that, right? If I was your client and I wanted to book in, I'm sure you're just going to tell me, I'm sorry, but I'm full. The earliest I can see you is, next month or something like that. You're just going to tell me in our session or when I make the call, or maybe you're going to send around an email or something, but I'm not going to, rely on social media for information about what you're doing. So it doesn't make sense. And the other thing too is that, if you have a look at what other therapists are putting on their social media, and maybe you do this too, it's like really, I guess, safe stuff. And by safe, I mean it's like mostly kind of like very loose educational and stuff like that. But the problem with that now is, as I was saying to you recently, the problem with that now is that, there's AI. So they can go and get your audience is already on AI. So you posting AI stuff isn't helping anybody. It's not helping your client and it's not helping you. It's not helping your business. So don't do it. It's better if you write things yourself and if you infuse yourself into it, right? So infuse your personality into it, infuse your thoughts, your perspectives, your ideas, what you stand for, what you don't stand for, what you believe to be true, what what's going on in the industry in terms of, I don't know, if you're like a grief and loss person. And everybody in the grief and loss world is talking about how awesome Gabor Mate's work on, compassion is, and blah, 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 in the context of grief and loss. And they're all talking about how awesome it is. I want to hear your view. What do you think? Do you think it's awesome too? Or are you like, well, some of it's awesome, but some of it maybe not so with my clients. And here's why. Like, tell us. We want to know. We want to hear your thoughts. That's what's going to market your practice. That's what's going to get you a client. And I can tell you exactly right now. Oh, hang on. My screensaver just came on as I noticed that I was getting messages. I hope they're about the email. No, they're not about the email. Okay. I just can't wait for them to open it because they're going to be mind blown. Anyway, it's about really making sure that you're infusing you into it. And that was the other thing that I was going to say before I got distracted by myself. Okay. Even just this past 2 weeks, I've had 5 applications come through for Momentum, right? So it has 20 places available and 5 applications have come through just since I've been doing all this advocacy work. And, 1 or 2 of them are names that I know from, the online world and stuff like that. Others I've never heard of before. So this is the thing, like when you have an opinion about something, when something's important to you and you tell people why and you show up for it and stuff like that, that is going to it will be polarizing, right? It's going to either turn some people away, right? Or other people are going to be like, oh my gosh, where's she been all my life? I had no idea. So people get on the bus, people get off the bus, right? People are coming, people are going. And that's how it works. even in business when it comes to your cash flow, right? Money's going out when you're paying bills, money's coming in when you're getting session fees, right? There's always movement. It's always something's coming in, something's going out, but it's followed by something coming in. Like the breath, it's coming in, it's going out. We don't even have to, oops, I just whacked my microphone because I'm doing movements of the breath. Yeah, this is why I don't do video podcasts, by the way. But anyway, you get the idea. Like there's movement. So it's okay for you to share with your audience the things that are important to you, because guess what happens then? What happens then is people want to work with you because the same things are also important to them. And so then when you do have a conversation with somebody, right? If you're having conversations, you're already on the same page. And that's what I mean when I say you never need to. I don't sell anything in my private practice. I don't even sell momentum. When I say that, what I mean is my things sell themselves because they solve problems for people. And my things sell themselves because people already know that they're there. And I don't ever have to do hard sells, big pitches, any of that. No, I don't. There's an email that I wrote today that's going out tomorrow, and it's about momentum. But it's not a sales pitch. In fact, it actually says in there from memory, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it says something in there like join it or not. Like, if you don't want to join it, that's perfectly okay. Like, I trust you to make decisions for yourself, right? You're a woman in business. You've got to be able to make decisions for yourself. And if that's the right decision for you not to join, that's totally okay. We can still be friends. Like, it's fine. But if it is for you, then awesome, because I'm here for it. And I am here and going to show up and do all of the things and do everything in my power because I'm fixated on your results. So how can I not? And I think all the women in Momentum will tell you the same thing. The level of support it's unlike anything that they've ever had. And as I said, already women in there are saying, when I do it again next year. So they're already thinking that they don't want, it's like, anyway. So that's what I'm sharing that with you, just so that you can understand the context of what I mean when I say you will never have to sell in your private practice when people know who you are, right? And they're not going to know that if you're hiding behind general stuff. I'm just going to jump into Instagram now, and just the first therapist website that pops up, feed that pops up, I'm just going to have a look at and explain a little bit more about what I mean. Okay. All right. So there's one here. Now this particular one's the first one that's come up, right? I'm not going to say the name of the business or anything like that, but I've been following this practice for a while, probably about 4 years now, and lovely branding, always a branded post, but always a stock image, never a reel. And the thing is that even now when I'm just looking at this, it's not actually saying anything that's going to be of any use. And straight away, the whole thing's been written by GPT. It's even got I was going to say stupid. It's even got that rocket emoji. I mean, why would you not even delete that? And it's got great big dashes through the M dash. Oh, here we go. The word whispering. I really don't believe anybody's soul is whispering to them. I mean, it's just lazy marketing. And this person is probably thinking every day, oh my gosh, I've got to come up with something else to put on my social media. I've got to put something else on my Instagram, and now they're doing a stock image. It's an image from Canva, a very popular one from Canva, and then just a slab of chat GPT. And I bet that person feels like what's the point of even going on with this because it doesn't work? But it's not working because it doesn't say anything about the client, their story, who they are. It doesn't say anything about the therapist, right? Another one. Oh gosh. Another one. Stock photo. It's that photo of, the woman with her hands open and she's facing like the beach and she's like trying to be like free or something. What's the name of it's Rose in the Titanic. That where she's like hanging off the bow, right? That picture with a freaking quote. And then underneath the quote it says unknown author. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Let's click on the caption and see what it says. Oh, ChatGPT. After the ChatGPT, it goes on to give phone numbers and addresses and says that they're accepting new clients. I bet that's not going to convert. This is what I mean. It's like people thinking you got to do the Instagram stuff, otherwise you're not going to get a client, and it's not that at all. You got to know what to put. I'm just scrolling as I'm talking to you. I get a lot of Trump stuff on my feed and a lot of stuff about vaccinations and stuff. Also memes. I do enjoy a good meme. Okay. Dolly Parton. She's amazing, isn't she? Anyway, I'm just saying that because she popped up. Who else have we got? Nope, that's not one. Where's the next one? No, that one looked like it was going to be, but it was actually for an accountant. Britney Spears. I don't even know how she comes up. There was one from a therapist here, but I don't feel comfortable saying the content online. Online on this. Oh my gosh. Who else have we got? All right, so there's another one here, and yeah, it's like, I don't know. They had an idea that they wanted to. So it's a graphic again. It's a single graphic, and it's like they had an understanding what they needed to do, but it wasn't well executed. There's a message. I'm not going to read it out because I don't want to embarrass the person and, all those kinds of things. But anyway, it's a message. They've tried to have a go at writing a message to their ideal client. However, the message is very, very general. It says something along the lines of walking beside you and giving you the safe space. And I'm not even joking. I'm not even saying that because it's one of my things, right? If you want to upset me, put that on your website and then ask me to audit your website. Yeah. But this person's actually got it as a post, right? Not going to get a client from that because it's fluff. It's not actually saying anything. It's fluff. Yeah, somebody else. This one's a psychologist. So for those of you who are psychologists out there, this one has, again, it's just a single graphic, single image, and it's got like a notification, and it says, here's your friendly reminder. The anxiety isn't the problem. It's the way you're dealing with it. How's that going to get anybody a client? Like, not in a million years would I ever recommend a post like that. I feel like I need to give you some ideas about what to post, so I will. Sorry, I'm just having a quick look to see if there's like another quick one that I can share with you as a oh my gosh, I just saw, so I'm scrolling through my Instagram trying to find another one for you. It's a picture of Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt together, and they've aged, and it says this is what AI thinks they would look like if they were older. Okay. I'm just scrolling past stuff that has nothing to do with us. Oh, here's another one. So this one is just, again, it's just one image, and it just basically says, I'm not going to use the exact words because I don't want to like offend the person or, call them out or anything like that. So I've just got to try and reword it while I'm on the fly. But it's just something very, very general that says, help that actually feels helpful or something like that, right? Again, not a great message. I'm going to help you. Okay. Have a think about, in terms of, let's say Instagram, right? But it applies to anything because we're just talking content. But so you can use this for Facebook or your email or your podcast or anything like that. But have a think about how you want it to be seen. So to give you context, for me, I see my podcast as you and I having Saturday morning brunch at the local cafe, or we're at each other's houses and we're eating at the kitchen bench just very casually. We're having coffee and we're just snacking away and we're just talking, and we're in casual gear with messy buns and no makeup, and that's kind of the vibe that I go for with this podcast. I feel like it's just you and I having a chat, even though I'm totally dominating the conversation, which is actually probably what would happen in real life too, because I always butt in, I always talk over the top of people, I'll finish your sentences. So yeah, this probably works better for both of us, but this is the vibe that I'm going for with this podcast. I just want to be super casual, right? I don't edit them. Sometimes if Buddy starts barking, I'll have to hit pause, try and backspace over the last 2 seconds of the bark and then pick it up again. But otherwise, there's no editing or anything like that. It's just raw and real. It's me. That's different to the vibe I go for on my Instagram. My Instagram vibe is, I want this to be a resource. I want my profile to be like a library. I want it to be a one-stop shop so that whenever a woman who's starting a private practice needs help with something, she can just come, find what she needs and get out, right? That's it. I want it to be a resource. And I want her to have a really good experience with that resource, whether the resource was a reframe, whether it was a suggestion, whether it was insight about, private practice. So it doesn't, whether it was an actual downloadable thing, doesn't matter. I want her to have a really good experience of that so that next time she needs help, that's the profile she comes to, right? I don't care if she follows me. I don't care if she likes it, saves it, shares it. I could care less. What I'm most interested in is being a resource for her. I was going to say being resourceful. I want to resource her, right? So that's what that's all about. And, overall, this was really interesting too. Did I tell you this? I had the women in Momentum fill out a little form for me, and one of the pieces of feedback that came back, I had a question in it, and the question was like, what do you like most about being in Momentum? And they were all saying stuff about like my no fluff honesty and my straightforward approach and all of this. And I was like, what? I didn't even think about that, but yep, hey, there it is. I see myself as like soft and kind and generous and spiritual, and I'm all like, I'm wearing caftans that float, and I've got long flowing hair, and I'm walking around with a staff that's just like one great big crystal point. And do you know what I mean? I'm very bohemian, and this is how I see myself. So that when I got the feedback like, you're a straight shooter, it was such a surprise to me. Which brings home my point, like how we see ourselves is often different to how our audience sees us. And so, yeah, when it comes to your marketing and attracting clients, have an idea about, okay, I'm going to use this platform. How do I want to connect with people? What's my intention here? And this is the other thing. Start to see your platform that you're on, whether it's you're blogging, for example, maybe that's the thing that you're doing. Like, start to see it through the lens of a business mindset and say, okay, this is an asset for my business. How much is this asset worth? And I'll tell you how to figure it out. Look at over the last 12 months, how many conversions you got, right? So you would have got a number of inquiries, and of those inquiries, how many converted, and then look at, how many, on average, how many times somebody comes to work with you. So on average, it's about 10 times. If your fee is $150, that's $1,500. So if your website brought you 30 clients, that were converted and worked with you, that means the website is an asset for your practice that's worth 30 times 1,500. So your website is actually worth $45,000. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, unless you work with a business mentor who understands all this stuff and private practice, like you're just never going to learn this, and you will stay on the hamster wheel. And that's why we do it in Momentum, by the way. So all the women in Momentum at some point have done, or it's coming up for them in our work together, identifying the value of their assets. If you're posting every single day on Instagram, and you've done so for the last 6 months, and you had a few nibbles but none of it converted, you're probably in the red, because think about how much of your time has gone into that, right? Maybe it's, I don't know, half an hour a day. If you'd have to be working quickly to do that, if you're doing it properly. I don't mean like going to ChatGPT, get him to write it for you, and then you just slap it onto your feed with a stock image from Canva and hope for the best. Like, anyone can do that in 5 minutes. But if you're doing a thoughtful Instagram post, it's probably going to take you 45 minutes or so. You're going to have to make a nice graphic or the reel, or write the caption, think about the caption, edit the caption, think about your intention, think about the wording, the call to action, the message that you want them to take away, the shift you want them to experience, right? There's all this stuff that goes into creating a really compelling caption. So you're going to have that. That's going to take you about 45 minutes. Now, if you've done, I don't know, if you do 5, let's say you do 5 a week, 5, we'll just say it's an hour. This will make it easier for me to calculate. And you work 46 weeks a year. That's cost you 230 hours. And you could have been billing minimum $150. So your Instagram, the mucking around that you're doing on Instagram, has just cost you $35,000 in lost revenue. So I'm saying it doesn't make sense for you to be marketing on social media if you don't know what you're doing. It's costly. Don't do it. Focus on the website. That's why we do the website wellness audits. If you haven't had one, get one. If you had one and it's been a hot minute, 6 months or more, get another one, right? Let's get a booster, top up, you check in and see where it's at now. How did you go with the changes? Is it working? Why not? Let's have a look. Let's refine it some more, right? Do that. Your website is, for me, my website has good conversions, but mostly my conversions all come through the work that I do on the podcast and with Facebook. But you have to think about, like, where are your assets? So I know if I do a podcast, sorry, I'm just typing my password into the computer again. I know if I do 2 podcasts a week, they take me roughly about an hour from start to finish. And so that's 2 hours of my time. But they get clients for me that I get to work with, and that brings in revenue for my business. If I was just doing these podcasts and they weren't landing for people, they weren't helpful, they weren't resonating, and I wasn't getting inquiries or people reaching out, then it's costing me money, right? So have a think. How much money are you prepared to not get into the business because you're mucking around on your social media thinking you know what you're doing? And then there are people who've got access to courses and marketing tools for private practice, and they don't use them, and they go off and they're doing like these posts, right? So it doesn't make any sense that you would be wasting time, because it's costing you lost earnings for your business. And if you don't have clients and the cash flow is a struggle for you at the moment, then this is something that you need to be aware of, because it can help you. And I want you to feel helped. But again, as I said before, this is something that we go over in Momentum. Somebody applied for Momentum and she had a question about it, which was, she was like, oh, I just want to confirm, is it one-to-one? Yes. Momentum is a one-to-one program with me. I think maybe some of the confusion happens because I talk about the women inside. But when I do that, what I'm referring to is, when it first started, some of them were isolated and they wanted to connect with others. So I got like a little group community thing happening on the side. And so, a bunch of them spend time there. And we do workshops and masterminds and stuff like that. And they can all come and connect with each other. And yes, there is a portal now where they've got all of their resources and everything. And if you come along and join us, that's where you will go to, take what you want, leave the rest. But all of that's there. But all those things are just extras, right? It's just cherries on the sundae. But the actual program itself is just you and I together. You and me, nobody else. Just you and I together, getting it done and getting it sorted out. And the reason that I believe the results, as you can see, I'll put the link in the show notes so you can go and have a look, because I screenshotted them and put them on the page, that the results are mind-blowing. I mean, I think I told you before. I don't know, did I? Yeah, one of the ladies doubled her income and she hadn't even been in the program for 3 months. So, all of this is available to you and it's possible for you, and you can have it too, but you need to be getting this marketing guidance from somebody who knows what they're doing. So, end of financial year is coming up. If you're in a position where you're thinking about, okay, maybe I do want to take the business seriously. I've just had a look at my, current tax return. It's looking a little bit sad. I'd like to really improve that. Or I'm doing my work, but I don't feel good about it. I don't feel fulfilled. Or I'm constantly chasing. This is something else that happens, like constantly chasing the next thing, right? You feel like, oh, I'm marketing over here on LinkedIn, and I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook, and I have a podcast, and it's YouTube, and I've got a newsletter, and I'm doing free downloads, and I've got discovery calls, and I'm doing, free workshops and stuff. If that's, it's called stacking. Well, I call it stacking. You're like constantly looking, and it can happen when we don't have clear expectations. And I want to help you with that and just let you know that it takes 90 days on average to see results from your marketing. So if you're starting out and you're working on your website, give it 90 days before you start figuring out whether it's working or not. If you start on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or something, give it 90 days before, YouTube longer actually. YouTube's probably about, 2 years. But for your socials anyway, like Instagram and Facebook, you have to give it 90 days before you decide it's not working and then try and fix it by adding something else to your plate. Because here's the thing, you never stop doing something, you just pile more on. It's like when I was, I was going to say little, but I was probably 18. Yeah, I was 18. And where I lived in Frankston, I lived in a street called Winton Avenue, and it was kind of in between the primary school and the high school, Frankston High and Overport Primary. And it was near a main road, and this main road was called Tower Hill, still there, and big shopping centre, well not big, but a shopping centre anyway, up the top, it's still there. But there used to be Pizza Hut, right? And this Pizza Hut used to have all you can eat, and it would be like, I think, oh gosh, this is going back, but I think I just used to pay $10 or something. It was all you could eat between, 1 and 3 or something like that. And I used to go up to the school and sign my little sister out or sometimes 2 of my little sisters out, because I had a brother and 4 sisters, all of whom were younger than me. But I used to sign my littlest sister out, sometimes the other one. And so there were 3 of us. And we used to walk up to, the way that I signed them out was, of course, the fake note from mum, so-and-so needs to go to the dentist today. But it was me doing it, tracing the signature and all those fun things that you do. And then anyway, we would go up to the KFC. And we'd get very excited because it was like unlimited pizza, which turns out you can't actually eat that much, especially when it's unlimited. For some reason, you can't. And then when you add drinking water or drinking Coke, you fill up quick. But anyway, we used to go up there, and I remembered my sister and we put so much pizza on our plate because they had just brought out, you know how sometimes you go up to the buffet and it's just like the last bits of things, and then you see someone coming out the corner of their eye, or they look like they're going to be coming and bringing replacement food, and it's all going to be fresh and hot and delicious and gooey and chewy and all saucy and cheesy and all of the good things. It smells so good. So we're hanging around the bar waiting for the buffet bar thing, and then eventually it's like a team of all these Pizza Hut people come out, and they start putting all these different pizzas out, like so many different pizzas. So we got a piece of each pizza. But the problem was they only give you like a really small, like a dinner plate instead of like a proper plate. So what happened was my sister and I had stacked our plates so high that the pizza was like seriously Leaning Tower of pizza. It was like nearly toppling over. Where was I going with this analogy? Oh, yes. So it was like we were just stacking stuff, and then it got overwhelming, and then we had to have other strategies, right? Which I won't go into. Can save that for the retreat that's happening in October. We'll talk all about pizza balancing strategies there. But anyway, I just wanted to share with you, you have to give things a chance to work before you dismiss them, and don't add things to your plate. Like me and my sisters with the pizza, don't do that. My sisters and I, with the pizza, don't do that, because as I said, you never take what's working away. You just kind of add another thing on top and another on top. You can avoid that. And you understand now too, from what we've discussed today, how to approach your marketing, okay? And this is the other thing. Marketing should do 2 things. Marketing should connect with your audience so that you can grow and build your audience, but your marketing should also be generating revenue. So everything that you're doing in your business needs to be doing either or both of those things. And if they're not, you should stop doing them, okay? Anyway, as I said, a whole other thing, and we go into all of this in momentum. But as I said, momentum, it opens in 4 weeks. If you would like to have a look, and you can go on the waiting list, no problem, no commitment, nothing like that, but you can get your name down and think more about it closer to the date. I'll put the information below for you for anybody who wants it. There is also an email coming out tomorrow that will have the link in it and some more information, but you have to go and check out the page. You are going to love it. I promise you're going to love it. Just scroll down, and eventually you'll see the lovely thing that I'm talking about. It's so special. And yeah, I'm just going to get out of GarageBand and go over. No. Oh, they haven't read my email yet. I feel sad. What have we got? Oh, hang on. Somebody has. Yay! She said, these are fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. You are very clever. Yay! I'm going to screenshot that for myself and put it on my happy board. I have a little happy board. And yeah, whenever I'm experiencing self-doubt or something like that, I could just bring it up, go and have a look at it. It makes me feel good, reminds me, you're doing the right thing, you're on the right track, You're in your zone. You're just having a bad morning. So I am so excited. I'm so excited. But anyway, I'll let you go. I just wanted to say have a really, really, really wonderful Wednesday. And thank you so much for listening to another episode of the podcast. Oh, by the way, celebrating 500 episodes. I need to check, but I think now we are meaning you and I and other people who listen, we are now the longest running private practice podcast in the country, which is like super cool. It's super cool. Anywho, I'll let you go. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for listening, and info is in the show notes if you want to go and check out the really cool thing that's on my page for Momentum. Okay, bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Private Practice Podcast. So as you reflect on today's insights, imagine creating real success in your private practice without going down rabbit holes or exhausting yourself with business activities that don't move the needle. With Practice Momentum, you have push of a button help available on demand. It's like having an expert in your pocket ready to guide you whenever you need it. Visit brooklynstorme.com to discover how Practice Momentum can transform your approach to building a thriving practice. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the mind, business, and spirit of private practice success.